So one option is to keep it as a long, narrow garden. And remember, I'm going to go from minimalist to maximum by way of time, energy and money, like we said earlier. So one option, option A if you like, is minimal. And for that option, you would literally look at this area here, maybe create some kind of raised area here. And it could be as simple as you saw in one of the pictures I sent through, which is just some sort of edging like this, or a brick edging even. I can send you some photos, you'll see it later with the brick edging. Just to raise the height so you can get some soil depth so that you can plot your vegetables or your whatever you want to do. This area is a sun area, and I would suggest for a sun area, you need at least that amount of space to really sit out and enjoy. See if you can get, because once you've got a table in there, by the time you've got chairs around, you need that space. Or even if you had one of those, those baskety things. I mean, remember, you're a city person. I'm always going to go a bit more rural with mine. One of those woven, I don't know what they call them, wicker type things with a little table. Whatever you do, you could even go for a daybed over there. Very, very simply, you could go for a gazebo when you feel like it. But remember, gazebos are really there to give you a bit of shelter, and you can get shelter up this end. So my gut feel would be to think of your garden in two zones like that. This is hot, sunny, dry, or it's in the summer it's going to be there. And this side is going to be, the more you go off to this end, and especially it's almost diagonal, isn't it? Because you've got a shade along here in your pictures. This is going to be more shady. It won't be completely shady, but it'll be partial shade. And you can see where I'm going, because up here you'd want hot, sunny, dry plants. Down here you'd want partial shade plants. But possibly on the edges, depending on, you'll know the physical remit of this area. Towards the edges, if you were going to have a bed here, you could introduce some more sunny ones. Again, we're going to continually think what we want up here. And if this is going to be a seating sunny area, then we're also, and I notice you've got a couple of chairs up here anyway, you're going to be looking down at the house. So you want both views to be lovely. So simple think of it as 2 to 3 areas. One is a sunny, seating, lounging, enjoyment area, where you'd have hot, sunny, dry plants. And one will be whatever you do round here. If that's breakfast, lunch time, when the sun's starting to come in as it rises, then this end here, you'd probably want to have partial shade. You could put a garden here, but you're going to get your doors here. And my gut feel is if you want a quick entry into the garden, you'd come out this way. So that's why I haven't put a bed there or suggested you put anything there. And you can start to see a weaving round the garden if you like that kind of look. From here, this part of the garden will be hidden. From here, this part of the garden and the back door will be more hidden. It won't be hidden because we're not going to pull the plant. I'm suggesting we don't take plants higher than about 1 metre, unless you tell me otherwise. But we could have some nice trees that you can see through over this side and this side. From that angle, you could actually be looking through the trees, very lightweight trees, breezy trees, like my, I'll tell you about the plants later. But there's quite a lot of trees that will put up some stunning colour and almost give you a bit of privacy. Again, this, if you did have some semi-shade trees, not heavy permanent ones, the downside is they won't give you much privacy in the winter, but who cares? But you would be shielded a little bit on what you're doing here from your neighbours on this side, not from on this side. These would struggle a little bit looking by. So I'm trying to think about neighbours looking in and all the rest of it. You could have a statement tree on either side, just to give you very cleverly planted. But I don't mean a great big tree. I mean something small, like one of the small white magnolias. But remember, they have to have enough depth of soil or be put into a raised bed or in a pot to actually go there. You might decide up this end you're going for a little bit more of a tropical feel. But you may have to protect those plants in winter. But in the London, you're quite shielded. That area's quite shielded from nasty winds. This end, you've got houses here. You might be able to try something in there, and we can look at some of the plants you can look at there. We talked about herb garden and vegetable garden. This clearly lends itself to herbs. Rosemary, if you want a bit of smelliness, lavender, thyme, oregano, or oregano, as Pat says. There's a number of herbs there. These will take the drier herbs and vegetable side because you'll get some sun, and it makes sort of sense to have the vegetables near the kitchen. Okay, I just wanted to develop that theme a little bit more. So I'm wondering how to do this. I've got one I did here earlier, not a design, but another blank piece of paper. So what I want to do is take that design and develop it a little bit better. So I've just given you some blocks there, and we're talking about 4 blocks. The brunch area, we can call it. And you need to come back to me and say, no, we don't want a brunch area. Okay? Weekend brunch, I'm thinking of. The sunny area. We've got hot, dry, some kind of vegetation. You could mix herbs with herbs also, if you let them go on, will flower. But you can mix the hot, dry, sunny herbs with other flowers, if you like flowers as well. You could indeed have a border that runs down here as well, and a border that runs down here as well. And you'll start to see, as I'm showing you, your grass area disappear. Now remember, these will have to be raised, right, to get the soil in. But your grass could stay at that level, or you could raise the whole area and replant the grass, but that's a lot of work. Okay? Now, before I give you option B, this is option A, minimal, with some flashy bits as well. I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot what I was going to say, but I'm sure it'll come back to me later. Yeah. You could do these as angular, like this. Squares, squares, squares. Very formal. My gut feel is I'm not sure you want that. So you can soften borders like we've got in the front here with this sort of sense. They don't have to be really hard end borders like you want. So you've almost got a wide pathway coming through to your sunny area, and you tell me how big you want that sunny area, and we just extend the path. But this could be low down grass. If you've got problems with your current grass, you may want to just topsoil the whole thing and sow grass over. Big project. But otherwise, these will be raised areas here to give you the depth of soil so you can plant beautiful things. More soil, more grass you have, the more you have to mow it, and the simpler it is. More hot sun, more soil you have, the more you're going to have to make sure your planting is right. And remember, you can develop this over time. As soon as you get those fences up, remember, you are going to get dry shadows under here. And you're going to find your grass won't like to grow around there anyway. So it's going to come off those walls anyway, off those endings, those fence areas. Everybody struggles with that. And if you were going to be completely radical, and you've got to think about what you want. I love green to look at. And theoretically, you could have gravel gardened all this, or gravel garden up here. This could be a gravel garden. Bear these things in mind when you come to your final solution. I'm going to move on to option B now. So to summarise, what you've got is a kind of minimal, I've done the minimal option in red, and nice little blotch of my felt tip option here with your brunch area, but come back to me if you don't want a brunch area. The sun, seating, evening entertainment, summer zone. Let's call this the summer zone, because mostly you won't do a lot down there. And I put kind of an option for a 2.5 metre, 3 metre zone. And remember, this could be curved. Again, remember that you around here is going to get shade once you put those fences up. Less so this border than this one. So you're probably going to, and that means the grass won't hit that area so well. It will start to die back from here because it's very dry. You've got those dry zones. So putting in a little bed here might be a good idea. and you could curve that if you don't like straight formal box, 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 as you've seen on the more formal ones I've done so far. And then you've got your hot sunny area here with herbs, and you could mix in flowers with amongst those, and they'll also flower if you let them go over. And you can pick up their seeds. Coriander as well will go in there, although they're hard to overwinter. But in London, you have much warmer climate than us. And mine have survived this winter, and we're getting warmer and warmer, aren't we? It's the wet often they don't like. Some things don't like. They like a bit wet. I move my thyme and my mint and parsley and coriander type things into more partial shade. So again, you can move things, especially if they're in little pots, but have a unity and a theme to your pots. Don't have lots and lots of different coloured pots like I've done. I'm getting rid of all mine and just going for terracotta. If you want terracotta pots, let me know, because I've got some really nice ones you can have. Partial shade on this side with an option for a veg garden, in which case you could make your boundaries a place where you do your little statement flowers or whatever, as well as mixing them in here. But remember, you've got these areas here. If you leave this as it is, we've talked about a possible gazebo here or whatever, but remember that tends to give you shade. And the other option, as I mentioned here with this one, would be to have a nice theme. You could do this here. Remember, this is kind of like a terraced effect. You could edge off the garden here, and you will need to raise that bed, as I've said. And you could almost have a walk through from whatever your planting area is here. So that would be your planting area. They're all coming out. I'm having to dip them in water. Hardly use these for my games. Okay, so you can see there where you've got more bed, less grass to work. Once you've got this planted up, it's fine. But remember, less so with herbs, but certainly with vegetables, there's work. So this would be a working area for you to get your little boot in. I wouldn't do it the other way round, because I wouldn't put the hot up this end. Because this is in partial shade here some of the time. Unless you could flip it this end and have just this side, your vegetable patch here, and your flowers and others there. But then, as I said, you're going to miss bits and elements of your privacy. So if you want to do that, that's another option you could do, is just have, you know, this side a square. Let me put a fourth option, another option in there. Pinky option. You could just literally just go across here and then have a walkway down here with some slabs. There's loads of options. That's the joy. So if you like, option C is more formal, straight edged. But my gut feel is, and I might be absolutely wrong, I don't think you're a straight edge person. So you can see that you've got three options there. Let's call this the formal, that one there. This one is the curve. And I just love that, because I think it'll give you a bit more mystery around the garden. And if you want to look down a long garden, this is the pinky option. Formal one's probably the better one to go for, or the minimal one. The curvy one will make you feel you're in something a little bit more mysterious. So those are three options, and I'm going to give you a few more.